What's up everyone, my name is Andrew Fung. Sorry for not posting for a while. Today I'll be showing you how you can use Python to transcribe your audio file using Google's SpeechToText API and also using Python Dash as a framework to run the whole application. So now let me go to Finder and let me input an audio file. You can just do drag and drop or press the select file button. And when the audio file is registering and the whole application is running, you can see that there is a updating tag inside the title of the website. And after running for a while, the application will show us the detailed information and also the main part, which is the transcription of the audio file. So as you can see, we can tell the file name, which is driving English conversation sample.mp3, the format or the content type. After the line break, you can also see the transcription of the audio file. It can clearly separate between the two speakers inside this conversation using Google's speech-to-text API and something called speaker diarization. In this video, I won't be going into the details of how speaker diarization works, but I will show you how you can apply Google's speech-to-text and help you maybe alleviate your work on manual transcription of an audio file. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing we should take a look is the getting started with authentication inside Google Cloud. So as you can tell by now, Google's speech-to-text API is actually a product of Google Cloud. So we have to deal with authentication, and Google has to make sure that we are actually a Google account owner. So the first step we should do is to create a service account. So there are two methods to do that, which is using the Cloud Console and also the command line. So I found that the Cloud Console is actually easier to follow, and you can just simply follow the instruction there. And if you have finished following all the steps, you should be able to create a JSON key file. And the main thing of this JSON key file is actually to authenticate that you have the API key to use Google's product. So make sure that you have this JSON key file, which is tailored for the project that you have just created using the service account. So after you have successfully grabbed the JSON key file, we can move on to creating a Python script. So I'll be using Visual Studio Code as usual. You don't have to use Visual Studio Code. You can also use other code editor. So we now have a blank Python script inside this directory. So you can just create a folder and let me explain the directory. So this JSON file is actually the JSON file that I've just mentioned. You have to make sure that you have this JSON file inside your directory, and the two audio file is actually for testing. So one is with the WAV extension and one is MP3 file. So that will use these two audio files later to make sure that this program works and can actually transcribe audio files. So the first thing you should do is actually make sure that you have gotten the Google Cloud Speech library installed. So if you haven't done that, please go ahead and run this command, which is pip install upgrade Google Cloud Speech. So I'll go on to the terminal, which is here, and then do this command. So as you can see, I've already gotten the packages. So let's deal with the imports. So let's do import IO, and then import OS, and then from google.cloud import speech v1 p1 beta 1 as speech. So this is the main package that we'll be using in this tutorial. So we now deal with the Google Authentication, which is making sure that we have the Google application credentials. So let's do os.envar Google application credentials, which is equal to, so let's go ahead and copy the name, and the path for this file is actually users/Andrew Fung /programming/multiple speaker detection, which is the current folder that I'm in, and then /this file. Okay, so we have done with the authentication, and let's go ahead and instantiate a speech client and also declare an audio file, which are one of those. So let's do client equals speech.speech client, and the speech file will be let's take this one and let's copy the name of this, make sure they're in strings, and then we will do with io.open speech file, and then rb as audio file, and the content will equals audio file.read. Okay, and then audio equals speech.recognition audio, content equals to content. So this will now recognize this audio and then use the content as the main input. And we can specify some configuration for this speech recognition. So it's speech.recognition config, and then encoding. So the encoding will most likely deal with the file type name. So it's speech.recognition config.audio encoding. So this file is MP3, so let's do audio encoding.mp3. The sample rate hertz of this audio will be 16,000 from 16K, and then the language mode we can tell is it's in English, so it's en.us. And so this is the main part, which is enable speaker diarization. So this was actually enable us to tell between different speakers. So if the audio only contains one speaker, then you don't have to specify this attribute. And the diarization speakers count is 2, as we can tell. So it's 2. And that's pretty much it for the configuration. So let's go ahead and print the one warning message, which is waiting for operation to complete, ... and then response equals client.recognize. So this will actually recognize our audio file with the configuration that we have just defined. And the audio will be the audio here. Okay. And by the way, the script that I'm just written is actually based on the sample given inside this page, which is the separating different speakers inside an audio recording. So they've provided some Python code for the whole, the minimal working sample. And we can just copy the whole thing to let's print it out. And I will list both of these two websites inside the description so that you can take reference to this. So, okay, let's cross this out and also printing out this. So maybe we can run this first to see whether it works and then make some changes based on the outputs that we want. So let's just go ahead and then do python speaker.py. Okay, so we have some errors for the language code. So I assume it's here. Okay, we've misspelled the language word. Let's save and run this whole thing again. So we got our message that shows the whole application is running. And we can also run some audio files for you guys to listen and to see whether the transcriptions are accurate. Okay, so we have the output, which are in terms of words and also the speaker tag. So maybe the first few lines is for speaker 1 and then they change the speakers. So let's go ahead and listen to the audio file.
Listen to an interesting story we talked about in the driving conversation.
So it's here.
What about you? What have you been pulled over for?
I've been pulled over for tailgating an ambulance.
Oh my god. I didn't...
Okay, so you guys have a rough idea, and as you can tell, the transcription are not 100% accurate, as you can tell. After we have seen the output, we can now actually change the output to something that we want. For example, if we have the same speaker tag, so speaker tag, the first speaker is saying listen, and then to listen to an interesting story we talked about in the driving conversation. So we will make sure that this whole line is actually one line, and then the whole line will print speaker 1 and then what he say in this sentence. So we basically concatenate the words that he spoke and also change to a new speaker whenever there is a change in speaker tag. So let's go on and make some changes. Now we are actually printing the vocabulary one by one, and this is not ideal, so we have to actually store it inside a list called maybe words list, and that will be in a dictionary form since we have multiple attributes such as the word, the speaker tag, and so on and so forth. So let's change this to words list dot append. So we'll be appending a dictionary, so make sure you have the curly braces, and that will be the first attribute will be word, and which will be word info dot word. And we also have multiple attributes such as the speaker tag, so we can change it to speaker tag here, and change this to also speaker tag. And we also have some attributes called the start time and the end time, so we can actually change this to start time and end time. So that will represent when does the word get spoken. So when does it start and when does it end. Okay, let's go ahead and print out the words list to make sure that we got everything we need. Let's save this and then go ahead and run this. So waiting for operation to complete. And after that, we will create a script, and then based on the logic that we've just mentioned. So if the speaker tag changes, for example, changes from 1 to 2, then we will actually create a new line indicating the speech. So we can see that it is quite messy, but it is actually a list, and the first item will be the word listen, speaker tag 2, start time, and then end time. Cool. So let's go ahead and create the actual script. Create a script based on the words list. So now we will actually need to instantiate the current speaker to detect the first speaker. So the first speaker in this case will be speaker tag 2. So the second speaker will be the first one. Will be words list. The first item of words list, and the first speaker tag. So it's speaker tag. Okay, so current line will be an empty list, and also the script will be appending all the lines together. So let's go ahead and run and create a for loop, which is for item in words list. So we are looping in for every word inside words list. And then if the item's speaker tag is not equal to the current speaker, then we change. That means the speaker change end of the line. Okay, so that will append the script for the line, and the speaker will be the current speaker, and the line will be the current line. Okay, and after that we will have to remove the line after we have put it inside the script, and then the current speaker will become the new speaker, which is item's speaker tag. Okay, so if in this case the speaker tag doesn't change, for example here the first item speaker tag 2 and then second item is speaker tag 2, then it will fall inside the else, which is the same speaker, and then add to the current line. So we append the vocabulary or the words inside the words list. So we can do current line equal append the current line by item the word, which is here. Okay, and so this will actually deal with all the items inside the list except for the last one. So if for the last one we need to do an extra script.append current speaker, because that may not be a change. For example, here if the last item is spoken from speaker 2 and it doesn't change the speaker after then we'll have to append the script one more time, and append the current speaker and also the current line. Hopefully it makes sense. So let's go ahead and print the script out to see what it looks like. So let's start printing the words list and just print out the script instead. Okay, so we see speaker 2 and then line, which is listen to an extra story we talked about. And the thing we should do is to actually combine this to be the same sentence and separated by a space. Okay, so we can see speaker 2 and then listen to an interesting story we talked about in the driving conversation, and then speaker 1 it changes. So what we have to do is actually to join this script. So we can create a script equals, we can do it inside one line using a lambda function, which is print f string. So speaker that will be line. The whole thing will be for line in script line, and then let's get the speaker. Wait, can't spell today. Speaker, and then speaker set. Let's go ahead and join actually to plus space and then join line. So for each line inside script, we get the speaker and then join the line. So inside here we join this one, this list, we combine it to be a one string. So and we print the whole thing out. So hopefully it works now. And okay, there should be you should use a double quote instead of a single quote because it may detect a change here. So hopefully it works now. Okay, yeah. Because just now I used a single quote here, and then it will detect it to be the end of the first single quote. So let's do double quotes and then single quote alternatively instead. So okay, we got the script now. Speaker 1 that listened to an interesting story in the driving conversation over 4. So it is, the detection may not be, the result may not be ideal, but it's good enough now. Didn't think he was going for a story. Let's compare it to the real conversation.
I didn't think that was the story he was going to pick.
No, this is a very bad thing to do. I don't recommend you doing this.
Okay, what's tailgating?
Tailgating is following somebody too close. So usually you have to leave a car length in between the car in front of.
So that's pretty much it for this tutorial today. The next video we'll be looking at how we can actually move the whole program into Dash so that we can allow users to upload their own audio file, and then when they upload, they detect the audio file upload, it will run the script and give them the script transcription inside the HTML file so they can see it inside a website. So hopefully you learned something about the Google's speech-to-text API. If you have enjoyed this video, then go ahead and like this video and maybe subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more videos like this, just like this one. And also, on the top of my head, I can think of some cool ideas. For example, a HTML karaoke. So now you see the start time and end time for each words, right? So whenever a user plays an audio file, they can detect whether the current timestamp of the audio file is within the start time and end time. So if it passed the start time, then the words will light up, just like a karaoke and displayed on the TV. So let me know if you want me to build this, and that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye guys.